Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Well, hello, everyone. Just getting myself together a little bit. Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to Hot Topics. My name is Gabrielle. I'm from A Step Ahead Tutoring Services. Welcome to my web series. Oh, you guys. So, if you have no idea what we're about, let me tell you what we're about. So, this is the web series where we like to talk that real talk. We like to talk about things that no one would even think to talk about, no one ever dared to talk about, no one really talks about, or they talk about at the kitchen table. We like to talk about those things. So, as a tutoring company, we do like to focus on certain topics. We tend to focus on topics in education, employment, mental health, physical health. If you watch our previous episodes, we have episodes on financial literacy, on being a child of divorce, on having a disability. So I'm trying to think what other things that we talk about. Um, we talk about a lot of things. I'm trying to recall what they are, but we talk about life as a teacher, right? So we like to focus on a particular scope of things, but within that scope, we like to get real, and we like to get all down and dirty. So the whole point of this web series is to have an open discussion about certain topics, right? And so that is the point of this web series. And I am excited about this series today because the topic for today is, let me look for this banner. Where's this banner? So the topic for today is surviving eye cancer. When I met my guest and I had the preliminary interview, I was like, eye cancer? Whoa. So, who thinks about eye cancer? So when it comes to cancer, we usually like to focus on breast cancer, right? Um, Breast cancer, brain cancer. Um, I think there's another one. Uh, but there's some cancers that don't get a lot of media attention, unfortunately. And sorry, huh, it doesn't get a lot of media attention, but it is still as important. And we're going to talk about surviving eye cancer. So it's not just a learning episode, but it's also a survival episode, and it may be a survival guide for you. With that said, I have a guest with me on the hot seat who's going to take the heat, and her name is Zaakirah Muhammad, and I can't wait to tell you about her. So let's get right into it. Who is Zaakirah Muhammad? Let me tell you who she is. So Zaakirah Muhammad has more than 10 years of professional photography and branding experience. She empowers people to step outside of their comfort zone through her gift of visual storytelling. Zaakirah is also the CEO and founder of Focused Media Group, that's focused with a PH, that empowers and supports the growth of minority owned businesses. She has overcome many challenges, including cancer and autoimmune disease, to establish herself as an innovative voice in the marketing industry. Beautiful. All right, so I'm going to bring Zaakirah to the stage. Hi, how you doing today?
Good. Hi, Gabrielle. Thank you so much for having me and giving me the platform to talk about another rare cancer. Just like you said, I think the one you almost forgot was like the blood cancer, right? Leukemia,
Yeah.
lymphoma, things of that sort. Oh, yeah. Can't wait to talk about this type of cancer.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Let's get right to it. So, you have an interesting story, and I want my viewers to listen. And if you guys so happen to be watching this in real time, leave your comment in the chat, leave your questions in the chat, and we will get to them as much as possible. And if you're watching this on the replay, that's okay. Leave your stuff in the chat anyway. All right. So, Zaakirah, I'm going to hand over the baton to you, and please tell your story.
Yes, so my name is Zaakirah Muhammad, and I am a childhood eye cancer survivor. A childhood eye cancer survivor. So I was actually 3 months old when my mom first detected a white glow in my right eye. And it took about 3 more months before she went to the initial 6 month checkup for me being a newborn. And the first pediatrician just, took a look at me and she expressed her concerns about what she's seen happening with my eye. And the pediatrician said, "Oh, there's nothing to worry about. Don't worry about it." But my mom had visceral intuition. And with that visceral intuition, she knew something was wrong. And so she requested for a follow up a appointment. And she was really adamant about getting that follow up appointment. And because of her pushing through, she was able to find a specialist that was able to be 100% honest with her and say, your child has retinoblastoma. It is the cancer of the eye, and if she does not have surgery right now to remove her right eye, it could spread it to the brain and later cause death. So thank goodness I had my surgery probably 2, 3 months after that. And since then, I've been living with one eye, a prosthetic, a glass eye. So believe it or not, I'm looking at you, but only in one eye. And later on down the road, as a result of the radiation treatment, to really keep the tumor down, which gratefully I'm still in remission 30 years later, but it resulted in a mild hearing loss. So the mild hearing loss started to appear around age 4 or 5, which then led to really wearing hearing aids in both ears. So, I mean, in the world of the pandemic, I'm using more headphones. I'm home a lot. So, a lot of times you'll see me wear protective glasses to protect the protective eyes. I wear hearing aids that are behind the ear, but designs have gotten a lot better. So they're nice and sleek and they can hide and people don't even notice it. But then my mom also introduced me to a camera at the age of 5. I was 5 years old when I was introduced to a Kodak Polaroid camera. So the kind of cameras that you had to take a good photo and you had to not waste the print because as soon as it comes out, that's the photo. And then fast forward, I think I was age 7, and my mom actually told me that um, I was not born this way. I think I started to get bullied at school and started to notice my own body changes. And I was like, Mom, was I born this way? She was like, No, dear. And she showed me the photograph that really she took to all her coworkers, all the doctors, and she even saved it to this day as, a memory of the moment her life changed. Not only was I also reborn because yes, I was born, I was already maybe babbling, but I had to learn to operate again, how to operate with one eye this time, and how to operate with hand-eye coordination. I wasn't the best athlete because, I can't see a ball coming from the side of me. So I think I picked up creativity instead, photography, music, writing, things of that sort. So here we are today, still alive, still well, and being a creative that encourages you to not only be inspired by my story, but to also be inspired by your own story.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. So, so tell us about the moment when you tell us more about the moment when you found out that you had eye cancer, because you didn't know until later on in life, right?
Correct. Yes. So I really didn't know I was different until other children pointed out that I was different. So I believe I was first 7 years old that I really remember my first bullying experience. The most common bullying experience is at that time I was being called four eyes, right? So when you wear glasses and you have that reflector in your eyes, so they call you four eyes. But at least you gotta make lemonade with the lemons, right? So the joke is that I actually have three eyes because one of them isn't actually a real eye. But for me, that really the first experience really did come up with bullying, and so at first, I'm introverted, extroverted, so I tend to keep to myself a little bit. But I think really wasn't until I was just like, no, really? Am I really, that different or that weird or, that strange? And, it just took my mom just really reassuring me that no, nothing is wrong at all. And it took her really just kind of bring me back down memory lane because no, I don't remember. I guess I could attribute it to PTSD or post-traumatic stress syndrome, and I believe it because when children, any child really has trauma at such a young age, I think the pandemic babies are different. I'll say that. But when any child experiencing trauma at such a young age, it really is almost like amnesia.
It was traumatic because of the bullying.
I think it was traumatic really because the surgery itself, according to my mother's description, is that you're kept awake because I was so young. There was no anesthesia, so I was kept awake in order for them to really actually remove the tumor. First remove the eye and then remove the tumor. So I think that aspect was really traumatic because, according to my mother, also it actually ended up being my dad who had to really go into the hospital room with me because my mom was just too much emotionally. So though I don't remember and still feel nothing. I like literally nothing when she tells me the story other than, empathy for myself. I think it's just traumatic in a sense of, just imagine if you had to be, you're not even walking and talking and can't even express how you really feel and how much pain you're really in because your life is about to change because you're surgically getting your eye removed to save your life.
Mm. I mean, your parents went the distance for you.
They did, and I'm so grateful that they did, because as I got older, we did try to kind of meet with other survivors that have the same kind of cancer that I have or have an eye cancer. And not many of the married couples, not many of the parents make it, because it's so tough on the parents as well. So thankfully, they both were just nomad. They both were just, I guess I could say wild card. They both were just always so uh, firm in who they are that they pass that on to me, and that love really just kind of was still shown throughout all the trauma. Really, it was still shown, and so I'm very grateful for the both of them really for pushing and advocating.
Of course, of course. All right, so let's ask the obvious question, right? So you say you're only seeing out of one eye, but I see two eyes right now. Can you explain more?
Yes, so I'm gonna do a little bit of a demonstration. So this eye right now, I'm seeing you out of. If I cover this eye, I don't see anything at all. That's because this eye is a glass prosthetic eye. So if you imagine the athletes who break an arm or anyone who gets in a car accident and lose a limb, it's the same thing. You get a prosthetic to have that still you can still have two of each. Most of us were born with two of each body part. So I can still have two. It's just not functioning like an eye. It just looks like an eye.
Mm. I mean, would it be rude if I asked you to take it out?
It wouldn't be rude, but I would say that there's actually a specific tool that I love to use. I would train to use, taught how to use it called a section. So kind of like the same way you would kind of plunge out, whatever is stuck in the toilet, you can plunge the prosthetic eye out. And so I don't have it near me, but typically that's what I do. And I do that to clean it. Similarly, like a contact lens, I take it out regularly to clean it. But also, there's a story that was told by my mom by a fellow survivor that one of his reactions to being bullied, that's what he did. He took the eye out. He took the prosthetic eye out and just like, here, have the eye, have at it.
Yeah, I'm sure that freaked them out.
Yes, it did.
So is it how often do you clean it? Do you use any special, I imagine you use like a special solution. Like how does the care for it work?
Yes, so it is a special solution, a sensitive solution, very similar to contact lens solution, and contact lens solution actually works. But I think for me, because also my parents have also kind of been on like a holistic route, I've actually, when I do clean it, currently every 3 to 6 months, because I don't go outside as often, but if I go outside and I'm on a regular, with the other debris in the air, especially if it's springtime, I tend to clean it maybe about monthly. But lately, I just simply use a soap that doesn't have too many other chemicals in it, so that it's not mixed, doesn't mix or interact with what's going on behind my eye. Because I still have like actual nerves and whatnot behind my eye, but I use a soap called Dr. Bronner's, and that's a pretty straightforward and pretty chemical free soap that I use as my cleaning accident.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on chumbacasino.com. I looked over the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere. So sign up now at chumbacasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's chumbacasino.com and live the Chumba life.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
So, I mean, does it does the solution get in the, I guess, the muscle part of the eye? Like, do you feel the solution?
Yeah, I do feel it. It kind of like when you get like a good cleanse, like a first cleanse in a while, like maybe in a dental office, and that first cleanse, when you're going to the dental cleaning, so you feel it at first, and it may kind of tingle or sting a little bit, but it doesn't hurt.
Ah. And so you said you got the prosthetic when around 7, right?
Actually,
So
a little younger than that.
younger than that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how did that work growing up? Like, did you have the same prosthetic as you got older? Did they have to adjust the size as you got older? How did that work?
Absolutely, yes. So I was growing a lot between the ages of three. I think I first got it when I was 3 years old. Between the ages of three and I believe up until I was about maybe 16 to 18, I go every 3 to 6 months. When not only was I getting it cleaned, I was also getting a new size so that it's not pushing against the tissue of the back of my eye. So I did have a ocularis, prosthetic ocularis who would actually size it so amazingly and to the right fit that it would actually match eventually once it started to you know sink in. It would match my muscle movement. But I also have a ophthalmologist, so the eye cancer doctor, who actually would kind of check on me regularly as well, just every 3 to 6 months, to make sure that the cancer has not grown back.
And you said you've been in remission for 30 years.
I have, thankfully, yes. Ever since the surgery, 6 months, and here I am, kind of giving away my age. So ever since
Mhm.
this surgery 6 months ago, I've been thankfully in remission.
Oh, wait,
And
I'm
not six
sorry.
months ago when I was 6 months old.
6 month old. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, so um, so now, I mean, I imagine you couldn't really do this when you were a child, but now that you're an adult, have you thought about getting like an organ donation?
I've heard about that, and you know what? It's like the only thing that's constant is change, right? but something you just want to hold on to. It's like that's been a part of my story. That's been a part of who I am as a creative. That's been how I've been able to see things differently. And so far, I'm okay with having one eye.
Yeah, because that's what you're used to.
Yes and no, but I think I really do believe that it's really just a part of my purpose because my cancer was detected by a photograph, and because my middle name Nayar means bright light, and I'm just thinking there's something about my purpose in life that still has to do and plays a huge role as far as also playing the role of speaking in diversity of advocating for other visually impaired women and men, and I just really feel like it's a part of my life to use what I have. Use what was given to me, and the same way been used to it. Yes, growing up, but I really do feel like there's so many synchronicities that have shown up throughout my life that I feel like that I'm okay being a one-eyed bandit.
Right. I think your sentiment is similar to someone who's been deaf all their life, and why a lot of people in the deaf community don't elect for the cochlear implant, because they're used to it. Um, and then it's like a big symbol, I'm deaf and proud, something like that. And it's like it's like a movement, pretty much. So, and getting the implants would kind of go against the movement in a way. So it's similar to that, or someone who was blind all their life, and they don't get the surgery. I think is LASIK or something, because that's what they're used to, and again, it's part of a movement. So I think your story is similar to uh to to something like that.
Yeah,
Um,
and yeah, I actually agree because I am also hard of hearing as well, and so even though thankfully my hearing had kind of just hovered around the mild hearing loss range, I was again raised or used to or just kind of told over and over and over of be prepared for to lose your hearing, be prepared to lose your hearing, and it's just one thing that you just kind of settle with, you're just like okay, when it happens, it happens. And yeah, kind of like that kind of badge of honor almost of like, yeah, I'm different in a good way. I'm differently abled and I'm proud of it.
oh, you're hard of hearing. Tell us about that.
Yes. So with the radiation, um, shortly after the radiation, it was when my mom picked up that I was losing my hearing a little bit. The story that she mentioned is that one day we were at like a cookout, a family cookout, or a family event where there's live music and speakers. And I've always loved music, but she noticed something different in the instance of at that cookout. I was almost going toward the speaker. Naturally, as a parent or guardian, auntie, you're like, don't run toward the music. But I was doing just that. Then she said that I was tugging away from her and I was saying, I can't hear the music. So that's why I was going toward the speaker. And so that's the moment she knew that I needed to get a hearing test done.
And oh, that was a result of the radiation, you said, right?
Correct, yes.
So how's your hearing now? Do you need any hearing aids, or are you considered deaf? How's that?
I'm still considered hard of hearing, so I do wear hearing aids. I do wear hearing aids in both ears, but I seem to notice that I tend to hear better in one ear. Kind of weird, right? But I have a mild hearing loss, so thankfully, as long as I have a volume loud enough for me, I use headphones often when I'm, on the computer on Zoom, a lot of times, especially now during the pandemic. So it's pretty much a mild hearing loss. But another little secret about me is I'm also a lip reader as well.
Mm. How does that work?
I don't know how it came about, but I think it's just all the years of listening, listening to people, and I feel like intently listening that I'm able to just read lips. I think when you lose one or two and a half senses, some other ones pop up. That not necessarily saying that you lose all five, but then you gain two others. And I think those other two have been reading body language and reading lips. So I think just natural training, natural habitat, being able to just really lip read.
Mm. And that's helped you a lot, I imagine.
It has, and even in the days of going back to bullying, of like they can't deny that they were not talking about me because I saw them talking about me.
Mm. Right. So you were able to catch them in the act.
I had my little detective eye on. I'm like, I saw you.
So so with the prosthetic, are you considered legally blind? What's the official
It
category there?
Yeah, it depends on what you label as official, right? Some government, agencies will say no. Other private agencies will say yes. So it's been a battle for my mom and myself and my dad as well throughout my entire life of how blind are you? Because another blessing is that I do have 20/20 vision in my remaining eye. It's like I have 20/20 vision in my remaining eye, no vision in my right eye. So it's literally that's just how the battle's been. It's been half and half of like, yes, you're blind, no, you're not. So yeah,
So do you drive at all?
I drive, yes. And another fun fact about me is I feel like I inherited it from my dad because my dad started driving as a young boy. He grew up in the country of Tennessee, so he was driving, tractors and trucks before you needed to drive, airplanes. He was in the military as well, so I feel like I got my love of driving and my natural adaptation to driving from my dad. So when I first got my permit, I think I got my permit first at the age of 15. I had extra blind spot mirrors. So of course you have your side view mirrors, and apparently back in the day, not all cars had side view mirrors. So on my driver's license, it was that special feature of you must have a car with side view mirrors. But then the additional feature was that I had blind spot mirrors. So technology changes all the time as well. So not only I don't need to get like blind spot mirrors on my car because now they have blind spot sensors on vehicles and rear view and backup cameras. So technology is improving and making it easier even for those who have less vision than me to still be able to drive as well.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on chumbacasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere. So sign up now at chumbacasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's chumbacasino.com and live the Chumba life.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
So it sounds like we're adapting to the times.
We got to adapt to the times. They're changing all the time.
Hmm. So so do you still wear glasses?
I do still wear glasses. They're more on a protective side now. Also, if I'm out driving, walking, whatnot at night, I think I've noticed that. Like at night, my vision is kind of different. But for the most part, I am not nearsighted, not farsighted. So looking at you right here on the screen is fine by me.
Hmm. So I think you brought it up before, like during the summer months. Do things get in the eye, like pollen or dirt or plants, like when the wind blows?
Yeah, yes, it does, and that's also why it's super important um, for me to wear glasses when I'm outside. But I think the what happens is it kind of really irritating. I mean, just like you get an eyelash in your eye, it's super irritating, right? So it feels the same way. I have the same sensation even with my prosthetic eye. It's just depending on what kind of debris it is, it could actually sneak into, the back end of the eye muscles and cause more damage. So the protective eye, at least in my unique case, is predominantly protective, but also now that I'm getting a little older and I'm not out at night as much, it also kind of helps me when I'm out at night too.
Wait, oh yeah. So what's it like? I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of street lights, but how is it at night?
Yeah, for me, it's not that bad. I think the only difficulty that I have with my vision are like words, right? The street signs. If I'm not necessarily not following the GPS, but if I am, because naturally what I like to do is I'll listen to the GPS, or if I'm not listening to it, I'm looking at the GPS, but I want to see where I'm going, right? Because I'm a visual learner. So I think the last time I drove out at night, it's been a minute, but that's what I observe. I observe that I struggle with seeing street signs.
So how do you compensate for that?
Well, I don't drive at night.
Okay, pretty simple as that. Okay. So let's talk about cost. So do you recall how much all the cancer treatments were? How much is the pros, prosthesis? How much was all that?
Yeah, so at least luckily my parents were pretty transparent when it came to the finances. Although I don't remember, but let's say that they are $5,000 and up on an annual range. If it's not for the hearing aids, if it's not for the regular checkups, if it's not for the prosthetic eye, and then of course throw in once I became of age, and I had my first menstrual, throw in, all the tests because I had abnormal menstrual cycles, so all the tests definitely add up. So it was expensive. They told me that much, and they showed me, approximately how much. Of course, I don't remember because I'm a creative. I'm not a numbers guy, so I'm not going to remember all the numbers. But $5,000 and up easily for any one of the um, aspects of medical.
And what about health insurance? Do you know if they covered all the costs?
Yes and no. Yes and no. I think I recall also super grateful for my mom, especially for intentionally choosing government jobs so that it could have more coverage for my needs. But for the most part, if it's a generic health insurance plan, at least back in that day in the early 2000s, they were not always covered, not always covered. But for the most part, when my mom did have a government job, it was 90% covered.
Mm. All right. Well, thank God for government jobs and health insurance. Um, so something just occurred to me. So I think there's a congressman who lost his eye and he wears an eye patch. Have you thought about getting an eye patch?
I think I know what you're talking about, but I think I'll also mention that there was actually a fight in Congress. There was a grandmother that we had the pleasure of meeting who lost her grandson to retinoblastoma. They put before this. I almost had the same situation of the pediatrician did not check, did not use the tool that's used to shine a light inside the pupil to detect cancer, and as a result, she lost her grandson. And so she fought in Congress to get those tools checked. I mean, get use that tool to check the eyes of children. And so that's one part of Congress when you went mentioned the word Congress that I wanted to bring up. But also, as far as winning iPads, not really. I think for me, I would more of if you remember the singer Lisa Left Eye, I would more of cover it with a scarf, or before I hit puberty, religiously. I'm also a practicing Muslim, so before I hit puberty, I would wear my hair out and I would cover my eye with my hair. So that's what I used to do. It just either if I wear a hat or a scarf or I would cover. But I think the older I get, the more I'm just body positive and body confident, and I'm not nervous or insecure about the question about my eye. I would happily say I it's cancer, it's a prosthetic eye. I cannot see you in this eye. This is protecting, it's keeping me alive. So I no eye patch, not really.
Okay. Is there a visual difference in the eyes? I don't know if you can pull up to the camera
So
and
not necessarily a visual difference, but size difference. Maybe you probably see that, right? So I'm gonna give another little demonstration.
all right, I'm ready.
Yeah, TMI. I'll say that for those who are very, very sensitive. Let me say that. Just pay close attention to the eyes. Ready?
Okay, I'm ready. Whoa.
Yes. So if we could do a slow mo, basically you'll see that the prosthetic eye slowly but surely is connecting to the muscle of my seeing eye. So it looks like a lazy eye, but it's just the glass eye, the prosthetic eye, just connecting to the muscles that are there and trying to just follow.
Ah. Well, I see it's a little glass, like a little glassy too.
Hmm.
Yeah, the prosthetic. Okay. I mean, it's a little bit different. It's not, someone would really have to look and see that there's a difference, but I mean, at least this is my opinion.
Yeah.
Um, okay. All right. So, you still get checked for the cancer, right? Sorry. You still get checked for the cancer, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I still have regular checkups. It's definitely been a little difficult during the pandemic, but thank goodness for telehealth, and thank goodness um, also for a doctor that taught me of what I should be doing and what I should be looking for. When I was about to graduate high school, I got to shadow my ophthalmologist. I was in a photography program at my technical high school, and we had to find a niche of photography to do our to get our certification. Right, in order to finally graduate from the technical side of our technical high school, we had to pick a niche, and my mom suggested medical photography, and my ophthalmologist said yes to me shadowing him. So I literally got to learn hands on. Um, what to look for, what to do, what not to do. So thankfully, those skills came in handy during the pandemic when I had to push back a few appointments, and especially with having the medication that I need, because now also now in my seeing eye I actually have glaucoma, so I have excuse me, eye drop to make sure that my eye pressure doesn't get too high, which is 9 out of 10 times what causes glaucoma to get worse. Very high eye pressure would come from using the eye a lot, being on devices a lot, or just a lot of stress buildup as well.
So you have glaucoma too? What
Yeah.
what tell us about that now.
Well, it's so early that I'm just hoping and praying for the best at this point. I would eat my veggies, I take the eye drops, and I've always also been that kind of person that just hope for the best and expect the worst. So I've been told all my life that it's possible that I could go completely blind, and I'm just like, when if it comes, it comes. If it happens, it happens. Come what may.
And are you worst case scenario, are you ready for that?
I think I am. I think for the most part, I tend to think about my environment, right? I think now I too have been so dependent upon a device, but thank goodness these devices, have more accessibility features. And I think about whenever I am traveling in an environment outside of home, or with um, other family members that didn't necessarily grow up and know how to help support making a home accessible. I think the older I get, the more I feel ready for it, being able to advocate for myself and use more accessibility features. So, yeah.
Right, and then there's a lot of technology now, that can help. There's I think like there's the programs that will read out loud for you, and um I mean, I don't know if you want to go so far as like a seeing eye dog, but there's a lot of those technologies that are out there.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of technology. I think it's called the talkback feature on cell phones. And for hearing impaired, there's of course everything that has can have braille on it as well. And as a trial run, I ended up trying it out when I was between the ages of 7, 8, or 9, and I would have.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Alarm clock that vibrate, right? If I can't hear like the high pitched alarm that are typical standard on cell phone, I would have an alarm clock that would vibrate. So having things that vibrate as well, if I can't hear, or things that flash lights, flashing lights, the way to be able to see, and then yeah, there's just so much more technology. I keep saying to myself and almost writing it down that my future house, I'm gonna have a smart house. I'm gonna have it filled with technology features. So yeah.
All right, why not? Why not? All right, so we are starting to wind down. So do you have any final advice that you want to share with our viewers? Any words of wisdom that you would like to impart on us?
Yeah, continue to educate yourself, not just about those in your circle who have cancer, the cancer that you know, right? But continue to educate yourself. The American Cancer Society is a great organization. They're very resourceful, very educational, and they actually do help the cancer community. So continue to educate yourself so that you can educate others and be more knowledgeable in your community and your own circle. Should you come across someone who may have a type of eye cancer, 9 out of 10 times you will see it in a photograph. It will show up in a photograph first as a white glow instead of a red glow. And try not to Photoshop it. Try not to have someone Photoshop it first because it may actually be something that needs to be checked out by an eye doctor.
All right, and Zakira, thank you so much for sharing your story, and definitely encourage everyone. Get your eyes checked. Nothing wrong with that. Go see your doctor. All right, so let me get your banner up. All right, you guys. So Zakira is all over social media. You can find her on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn. So definitely go to all of those accounts and follow her and support her. And if you want to learn more about her and her services, you can go to her website at zakirahnair.com. So, Zakira, do you mind telling us about your business?
Sure, yeah. So I'm all over social media because that's kind of what I do. So now as a brand strategist, I help minority small business owners to really focus on growing their brand. And social media is not going anywhere, and it's moving faster. It's happening quicker. There's shorter attention span, so you got to be creative. And I support you with utilizing your creativity to grow your brand and tell your story and leave an impact. And so I do that through courses. I do that through consulting. I do that through my own podcast called See Life Different. And it's actually a play on the shorter version of my book. My mom and I actually wrote a book, and we actually talk about, I thank Gabrielle for asking all the questions because that the same exact question we had to ask ourselves, to actually tell our story as well. So my mom and I wrote a book called Seeing Life Through a Different Lens. Is it all right if I share the cover, Gabrielle?
Yes, yes. Let's get to that book right now. Let me get my special banner for your book, and you can go ahead and share your screen. So you guys give us a second. She's gonna pull up the book on the screen.
Yeah,
So,
I figured I should share the screen. That way
oh
you
wait,
can
yeah,
see it because everybody loves,
yeah.
you can find it on Amazon. So everybody loves Amazon. So I'm like, let me just show it. So that you can get the paperback version. It's also an audiobook. It's not narrated by my mom and me. However, I did edit it because I'm a podcaster. I did edit the audiobook. And there's also the ebook as well. Or like Amazon said, you can get both, listen while you read it, and it's a short and inspirational read, and it's really for anyone. I think everyone who's left a review so far literally said it's that book where you need inspiration. It's that book that you want to learn so much about. A woman's journey, just being a woman in this life. So, seeing life through a different lens by Zaakirah Muhammad.
Fabulous. So, and where else can people get the book?
Yes, they can also get it on my website. It's on my website as well. You can get an autographed copy of the book, and you can find it on Google. You can find it on Apple. You can find it on Barnes and Nobles. So pretty much everywhere you can find your books. It's also in the library. If you want to request it at your local library, it's also in the library too.
Awesome, awesome. You guys heard that. And I just want to also shout out her podcast that she mentioned. Um it's not just on, is it only on Apple or is it
No, it's everywhere too. Spotify is still on Spotify. I know there's been there's been conversation about Spotify, but it's still on Spotify, Apple. What's the other one? Stitcher. Amazon had podcasts now, so Amazon Podcast, Pandora. So everywhere you would, actually, if you just Google it, Google Podcast will show up first. So it's just Google "See Life Different" by Zakira and pick your player.
All right, there you go. And what's the name of the podcast?
See Life Different.
All right, awesome. So you guys heard that. So definitely check out her podcast as well, wherever. I know the link that you see is just the Apple one, but it's wherever podcasts are, she is there as well. So we're just gonna shout out that podcast. All right, Zakira, thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate you telling us your story.
Thank you, Gabrielle, for allowing me to share my story on your platform.
Of course. All right, I want to place you backstage now. And you guys, it is just you and me. I clear my throat a lot. All right, let me get my banner. There's my banner. All right. And you guys, we have reached the conclusion of our episode. Thank you so much for joining us today. So, wherever you are watching this episode, whether that is on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, maybe Instagram, wherever you are watching this episode, check out our video library for more videos and clips. And don't forget to follow us. So, whatever that button is, follow, like, subscribe, smoke signals, tweet, whatever the button is, press that button and definitely stay in touch with us. And while you're at it, please leave a comment in the comment section or in the comment thread and let us know what you thought about this episode. Let us know your feedback. We will greatly appreciate it. So, definitely, it helps out our algorithm when you leave comments. So, definitely leave that comment. Let us know what you thought about this episode. And as a reminder, we are a step ahead tutoring services. So if you are interested in our services, our workshops, our web series, if you want to know what we're all about, if you're looking for a tutor for yourself or for your child, please check us out. Our contact information is scrolling below, but I'm just going to say our website. It is www.astepaheadtutoringservices.com. And we are also all over social media as well. So definitely check us out. And we also have an email list and a texting list. So definitely join those things if you want to know about our discounts, our special promotions, our special events, any announcements, anything about a step ahead, you will find out on the email list and the texting list. I encourage you to join those things. That information is also scrolling below. And I'm going to share this last message before we officially close.
Hey there, have you heard of us? We're a small team of tutors here at A Step Ahead Tutoring Services. We believe that education and information should be accessible to everyone, regardless of income, race, or creed. We're dedicated to making this happen, but we need your help. Please consider making a donation to our company. No amount is too small. Your donation will allow us tutors to remain employed, offer free and low-cost services, put on productions like this web series, and reach out to families nationwide. With your help, we can tackle the academic challenges of our students and the emotional, mental, and behavioral changes that result from these challenges. As a bonus, we can improve our communities in the process. Support us today. Note: we're a for-profit company. We're not a charity. Your donation may not be tax deductible. Please consult a tax professional.
All right. Thank you guys so much. And I look forward to seeing you at the next episode. Thank you so much for joining us. And now I am signing off.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather, now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply.